TV.
We've seen Spence be very poised, very poised, very calm, cool, and collective. And he's just looking for the openings, looking for the fighter to slow down, get worn down, break down, get him up against the ropes with that spear jab of his, walk him down, take those body shots, boom, 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 boom. So if there's something to look for, let's look for that. Let's look for the traditional Spence that we're used to seeing. Is he going to be able to just do what he's done before, copy and paste it, and put it and put Crawford through the test? Is it going to just be that simple? I've done it to this guy. I've done it to that guy. Now I'm going to do it to you, Or is Crawford going to be a little bit more crafty and say, hey, man, you're going to need to pull a different kind of rabbit out of the hat if you want to get me tonight?
What's going on, boxing fans? It's Backchat TV, and we're back with another one. We got the fight today, the fight that we've all been waiting for, the fight that we've all been talking about. I've made a few videos about it. I'm not going to talk too long about the fight. I just thought for any new people coming to boxing, new fans who haven't seen the history of both of these great fighters and what they've done and who they've fought, and they kind of want insight into the different strengths and weaknesses of each fighter. I thought I'd just go through some of these things I put on screen. This is just a generalization of what each fighter I think are really good at and what's going to be the key in this fight. I have gone on record here saying that I feel that Crawford has the edge, and I've been bashed a lot by some people saying that I'm a Spence hater, which I completely understand. I'm actually not a Spence hater. I think he's a phenomenal fighter, but I do understand people who think some of the things I've said have been unfair and things like that. I totally understand that. Basically, I would see the fight as being potentially 50-50, although I have my own favourite, just like other people have their own favourite. I've seen Errol Spence since the amateurs, and he's just looked phenomenal all the way up till now. One thing I like about Errol Spence, he's an extremely hard worker. He's extremely skillful, and just often being a bigger man, being extremely strong, hard jab, great jab, very hard hitting. Most people just don't want to know after they've tasted a few of his punches. Breaks down his fighters very well, and has great stamina. I haven't seen him have any issues at all in the ring when it comes to issues of kind of stamina or anything like that. He's a phenomenal athlete. You need a lot just to compete with him, never mind to try and beat him. And he's been like that since the amateurs. He's actually got a better record than Crawford even when it comes to the amateurs, and all the way through his fights, he's never been dropped, or he's been hurt a few times, but he's been pretty flawless for the most part. So I think it's unfair for people, even myself, to say, they see a lot of holes and that Crawford's going to dominate the fight. It would be unfair to say that because we've got no evidence of Spence being dominated by anyone. So, I just wanted to put that out there. I feel like it's going to come down to who can implement their game plan the best. Errol Spence is known for his relentless pressure, and I think Crawford hasn't really dealt with anyone who can have that consistent pressure, apart from Sean Porter maybe, because he's another one who puts consistent pressure on his opponent. So that relentless pressure, that body attack. Spence has got a really good jab, but he uses it really well. He often fights. If you ever watch him properly, he does this all the time, which could be a downfall of his, because he tends to do the same thing in fights. This was actually my criticism of him, but it works for him so far. My question is, can he switch it up if he needs to? He copies and pastes. This is why I started this video with an extract of an interview with Keith Thurman talking about the strength of both of these fighters, and what he said basically was, I'm kind of paraphrasing, but what he basically said was Errol Spence is very good at what he does, and he's so good at what he does he hasn't had to change it. So he copies and pastes. Body attack, pressure, good jab, hits you with two jabs, and on the third one, that's the power shot. He either goes down to the body or the head. He always does this, gets his opponents on the ropes, and this has worked for him, so why change it? Now, I think as long as something works, you don't need to change it. The problem is when it doesn't work anymore, can you adapt? And because I haven't seen him have to adapt to really any adversity or different style where he couldn't use that, I don't know if he can adapt or not. That's the problem. Errol Spence may go in there against Terence Crawford and do exactly the same thing he's done, and Terence Crawford gets stuck on the ropes as a smaller man and just can't get past the jab and take the body shots, and eventually he may lose a unanimous decision, because criticism of Terence Crawford is he doesn't throw enough punches, and he starts too slow, so he may lose 6 rounds before he even starts to find his range, and he may get caught in that position where he's looking for that counter punch and it never comes, or maybe it comes too late. Maybe he drops him once after losing 8-9 rounds or something. All these things can happen because of their styles. So where was I kind of lost myself, but what I was trying to say is that Errol Spence has some great advantages. He has a high work rate. He never looks tired. He's going to attack the body of the smaller man. He has good pressure. And like I said, he's hard hitting. He's a good inside fighter. He's not going to give Terence Crawford too much space, which Terence Crawford really likes. If you watch Terence Crawford against Sean Porter, the first 5 rounds, Sean Porter was winning because he was taking away that space that Terence Crawford kind of likes. He likes that space to be thinking and to look for angles, and Sean Porter just didn't let him have that first half of the fight. He got him in that kind of Sean Porter whirlwind, I call it, like a hurricane. Sean Porter does this thing where it's like an avalanche on you, and he's just non-stop. He gets his head in there. He headbutts people because he rushes in, but he has to, because he's often the smaller man. Sean Porter's got this style where he just sticks to your chest and throws hooks and all sorts. And it's very difficult to deal with from anyone, that type of pressure. And I think it's the perfect fight to prepare you for someone like Errol Spence. Even though they fight different, it's still the same kind of relentless pressure in your face. So if Terence Crawford didn't get a chance to fight Sean Porter and was going straight into a fight with Errol Spence without fighting Sean Porter, I feel like he would lose to Errol Spence, because that type of pressure that only Sean Porter can bring, you have to kind of experience that in real time in the ring to fight somebody like Errol Spence, even though they fight totally different. I don't know if that makes sense. Terence Crawford is a person who likes time. He likes time to kind of move around the ring and figure out what he's going to do, and he likes that kind of thing, and Sean Porter didn't give him that time, and he put him under a lot of pressure, and that was the first time Terence Crawford has dealt with that type of pressure, and he passed. Not exactly with flying colours, because he lost the first 4 or 5 rounds or something, but you could say with flying colours he overcame it, but he was still affected by that pressure, if you see what I mean. Now that he's dealt with that, Errol Spence is going to bring a different type of pressure, but it's still going to be that pushing forward and then following up, keeping you busy with a lot of jabs and a lot of punches and a high output, and then following up with the power shots either to the head or to the body. And it's very difficult to deal with this type of thing. I mean, I saw a few people who are Terence Crawford fans kind of dissing Errol Spence, saying that, he does the same thing all the time. Why are people a fan of Errol Spence? I completely disagree. He does a lot of subtle things. He's not just basic. Like most people say, he has good fundamentals, but he does a lot of clever things that you don't see people do. For example, when he does jab, it's very strategic. It's either to keep you at bay, or it's normally so that he can follow up on the right hand. But if you have your guard up, he often, knocks your guard out the way. He often punches your hands and knocks your guard down so that he can deliver his right hand. And he does that in a really smart way that I haven't seen anyone else really do in that way. He'll bring your guard down if you've got your guard up so that he can deliver his punches. He cuts off the ring really well. And people say he's not athletic. He may just not be as athletic as Terence Crawford, but he's definitely athletic. So he has a lot of attributes and positive aspects to his game. You don't always have to be like maybe a Boots Ennis or someone like that. You can look at Boots Ennis and his variety of shots and angles, and he kind of combines all these things together in such an amazing way. You can see he's an extremely skillful fighter. There are some fighters who do the fundamentals really well, and it's just really hard to beat them, but they don't look spectacular. There's a lot of fighters like that, and Floyd Mayweather had a lot of skills, but he hardly ever showcased all these skills. A lot of the times it was just, good jab, good timing, good defense, and he just kept it at that. You never really saw him throw in, 5-6 punch combinations ever. It was more just, like I said, timing, good defense, tying up at the right time, and being first, knowing when to be first. He's positioning in the ring, taking center ring. A lot of people call Floyd Mayweather a runner, but most of the time, he found a way to take center ring, using good lateral movement. He did a lot of subtle things. You don't have to be a kind of a Lomachenko or these people that you can see quite clearly are skillful to be a good fighter. And I would put Errol Spence in that bracket. He's got good balance. You never really see him massively off balance or caught out in a position where he can't punch or anything like that. But when he is caught out in that kind of position, he's got a really good tight defense, which he uses when he's out of position, and then he just goes back to work. So he has got a workman-like style, but that's nothing to discredit him for. And Terence Crawford, we know his abilities: switch hitting, athleticism, punching power, reflexes and skill, speed, counter punching. He's very patient, and he looks for that situation where he can punch in between your punches and time you, and then hit you with something hard and try and finish the fight. Now, that's very impressive and very difficult to train for. It's almost impossible to train for Terence Crawford's style, but it comes with quite a high risk. That's the only downfall I would say about Terence Crawford's fighting style is it comes at a very high risk, because you're almost losing rounds waiting for that opportunity to time someone, to catch someone clean, to see if you can finish the fight. And he has this style. Hence, this is the reason why he lost so many rounds against Sean Porter and some other fighters that he lost rounds against. Even Kell Brook, I think he lost. I'm not sure. It finished in the 4th round, but I think he lost the 1st round or the 2nd round. It was more because he was waiting for Kell Brook to come in so he can catch him with that counter. It's a very dangerous, risky style. Errol Spence has definitely got the better style when it comes to risks versus reward, if you see what I mean. Errol Spence uses his time in the ring efficiently. He goes for you straight away, breaking you down from the beginning, and often banks rounds very quickly. Terence Crawford, as we all know, like I said, he can lose a lot of rounds while he's downloading the data. And against an elite fighter, he may never get that chance. Terence Crawford's style almost depends on his opponents making a mistake, and that's very risky. So I wouldn't be surprised. I can actually predict the fight based on Terence Crawford's style. If he was to lose, it's definitely going to be a majority decision against him. You can see Errol Spence clearly outboxing him for 12 rounds, and Terence Crawford never really getting the chance to get that shot in. That one shot that he likes to get to try and drop him or to hurt him, and it being a majority decision to Errol Spence. I can see that happening. I don't see Errol Spence knocking out Terence Crawford. That's not his style. His style is breaking down his opponent. So I could see Errol Spence winning by a majority decision, just for the fact that Terence Crawford, he doesn't throw a high volume of punches, so he could easily lose like that. Having said that, I do feel like Terence Crawford has the timing, and I think timing is a really big factor in a fight. If you've got great timing, you can time someone with something. And if you've got great timing and you've got power, those two go together well. They go together perfectly. You time someone, you deliver a power shot, you're going to hurt them. And then if you combine great timing with power and the ability to finish, then you've really got a recipe for success. So I wish both men well. I'm going to enjoy the fight thoroughly today. I'm still excited about it. I haven't changed my pick. I'm still going with Bud Crawford. I could be biased, you know. Most people are going to say I'm biased. I'm still going with Terence Crawford. I think he gets it done by TKO. I don't think he's outboxing Errol Spence. No way. He's not going to get any... I tell you now, Terence Crawford is not going to get a majority decision against Errol Spence. I guarantee you. It's going to be a TKO. It'll probably be a TKO or a knockout. Now, I favour a TKO. I think Errol Spence is just so bloody strong. It's going to be hard to kind of knock him out clean, but he may get stopped on his feet, kind of like a Kell Brook stoppage. I see that happening. If it is Errol Spence, I see a majority decision. I don't see Errol Spence stopping Terence Crawford, to be honest. I think it's more going to be a beatdown. But I think Terence Crawford is strong enough to stay on his feet. In that case, a 12-round beatdown, man down for Errol Spence. And if it is Terence Crawford, which I believe it will be, I think it's going to be a TKO stoppage on the feet. I think Errol Spence will stay on his feet. But I think he'll get caught with something, timed with something that he didn't see. And we already know Terence Crawford doesn't need a second invitation to finish a fight. So let me know what you think, guys. This is the last video I'm making until the fight now. The next video is going to be obviously the post-fight. Man, it's going to be amazing. Let me know what you think, guys. To all the people who said I was unfair on Errol Spence, I apologise. Maybe I was a bit harsh on him. I think the moment kind of got to him a little bit in the face-off and he was feeling a bit of fear and anxiety. I did see that in him, but he seems to have completely resolved that. He looked completely confident in the weigh-in. I didn't see an ounce of doubt in any of them, to be honest now. So let me know what you thought. I'm on to the next one. Leave a comment. Feel free to like this video and subscribe to my channel. I'm going to be doing a lot more of a similar nature.